Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. We're gonna take ourselves to the read aloud. We're gonna learn till we can't no more. Remember where we left off. Today I'm gonna read part of chapter 19. We're getting close to the end of our book. It's such a good feeling when you get this far into a chapter book because you know you're into it and you feel that, look at how much we've read, and it's like this sense of accomplishment, and I love it. So pretty soon you're going to be reading chapter books that are a little bit longer and thick like this one, and I hope you get that same feeling. So we're almost done. And remember where we left off, there's something wrong with Charlotte. She's tired, and then she was doing something in the corner. She was not in her web, and Wilbur said, "Charlotte, what are you doing up there?" And she said, "Don't worry, Wilbur, I'll tell you tomorrow morning." Templeton went off to have a feast, and Wilbur is still trying to win first prize. The word in the web says humble, and that means you do not brag. You're not full of yourself. And the Zuckermans and the Arables are at the fair. All our main characters are there, and that's where we left off. We're wondering, what is Charlotte doing? Why is she feeling so sad? What's she making in the corner? We're wondering, are they going to kill Wilbur? Is he going to win first prize? And we always think while we read. So listen close. I'll only read a few pages. And enjoy. This is chapter 19, the Egg Sac. The next morning, when the first light came into the sky, and the sparrows stirred in the trees, when the cows rattled their chains, and the roosters crowed, and the early automobiles went whispering along the road, Wilbur awoke and looked for Charlotte. He saw her up overhead in a corner near the back of his pen. She was very quiet. Her 8 legs were spread wide. She seemed to have shrunk during the night. Next to her, attached to the ceiling, Wilbur saw a curious object. It was a sort of sack or cocoon. It was peach-colored, and it looked as though it were made of cotton candy. "Are you awake, Charlotte?" he asked softly. "Yes," came the answer. "What's that nifty little thing? Did you make it?" "I did indeed," replied Charlotte in a weak voice. "Is it a plaything?" "Plaything? I should say not. It is my egg sac, my magna opus." "I don't know what a magna opus is," said Wilbur. "That's Latin," explained Charlotte. "It means great work. This egg sac is my great work, the finest thing I have ever made." "What's inside of it?" asked Wilbur. "Eggs?" 514 of them," she replied. 514? said Wilbur. "You're kidding." "No, I'm not. I counted them. I got started counting, so I kept on, just to keep my mind occupied." "It's a perfectly beautiful egg sac," said Wilbur, feeling as happy as though he had constructed it himself. "Yes, it is pretty," replied Charlotte, patting the sack with her 2 front legs. "Anyway, I can guarantee that it is strong. It is made out of the toughest material I have. It is also waterproof. The eggs are inside and will be warm and dry." Now, if you know anything about spiders, they make a little egg sac. It's disgusting, and hundreds of baby spiders come falling out. It really grosses me out. I can't believe they have so many babies. So Charlotte, what was she doing in the corner? Why wasn't she in her web? She was making her egg sac, and now she's tired. It's making more sense. Okay, that's what she was doing. We're learning more. "Charlotte," said Wilbur dreamily, "are you really going to have 514 children?" "If nothing happens, yes," she said. "Of course, they won't show up until next spring." Wilbur noticed that Charlotte's voice sounded sad. "What makes you so downhearted? I should think you're terribly happy about this." "Oh, don't pay attention to me," said Charlotte. "I just don't have pep anymore. I guess I feel sad because I won't ever see my children." "What do you mean you won't see your children?" "Of course you will. We'll all see them. It's going to be a simply wonderful next spring in the barn cellar with 514 baby spiders running around all over the place. And the geese will have a new set of goslings, and the sheep will have their new lambs." "Maybe," said Charlotte quietly. "However, I have a feeling I'm not going to see the results of last night's efforts. I don't feel good at all. I think I'm languishing, to tell you the truth." "Bwomp, bwomp, bwomp. Something's wrong here. What did Charlotte say?" Wilbur said, "Why are you so sad?" And Charlotte said, "I'm not going to be able to see my children." So, what does that mean? Is Charlotte going to not live until next spring? It seems like she knows something. She said, "I'm feeling languishing. Wilbur didn't understand the word languish, and he hated to bother Charlotte by asking her to explain, but he was so worried he felt he had to ask, "What does languishing mean?" "It means I'm slowing up, feeling my age. I'm not young anymore, Wilbur. But I don't want you to worry about me. This is your big day today. Look at my web. Doesn't it show up well with all the dew on it?" Charlotte's web never looked more beautiful than it looked this morning. Each strand held dozens of bright drops of early morning dew. The light from the east struck it and made it all plain and clear. It was a perfect piece of designing and building. In another hour or two, a steady stream of people would pass by, admiring it and reading it and looking at Wilbur and marveling at the miracle. As Wilbur was studying the web, a pair of whiskers and a sharp face appeared. Slowly, Templeton dragged himself across the pen, threw himself down in the corner. "I'm back," he said in a husky voice. "Oh, what a night!" The rat was swollen to twice his normal size. His stomach was so big around as a jelly jar. "Here is our rat, Templeton. Look at how fat he got. He's pretty happy, right? He had the night of his life. I'm back." "What a night," he repeated hoarsely. "What feasting and carousing and a real gorge. I must have eaten the remains of 30 lunches. Never have I seen such leavings, and everything well ripened and seasoned with the passage of time and the heat of the day. Oh, it was rich, my friends, it was rich." "You ought to be ashamed of yourself," said Charlotte in disgust. "It would serve you right if you had an acute attack of indigestion." "Don't worry about my stomach," snarled Templeton. "It can handle anything. And by the way, I've got some bad news. As I came past the pig next door, the one that calls himself Uncle, I noticed a blue tag on the front of his pen. That means he won first prize. I guess you're licked, Wilbur. You might as well relax. Nobody's going to hang any medal on you. Furthermore, I wouldn't be surprised if Zuckerman changes his mind about you. Wait till he gets a hankering for some fresh pork and smoked ham and crisp bacon. He'll take the knife right to you, my boy." "Be still, Templeton," said Charlotte. "You're too stuffed and bloated to know what you're saying. Don't pay any attention to him, Wilbur." Wilbur tried not to think about what the rat had just said. He decided to change the subject. "Templeton," said Wilbur, "if you weren't so dopey, you would have noticed that Charlotte has made an egg sac. She's going to become a mother. For your information, there are 514 eggs in that peachy little sack." "Is that true?" asked the rat, eyeing the sack suspiciously. "Yes, it's true," sighed Charlotte. "Congratulations," murmured Templeton. "This has been a night." He closed his eyes, pulled some straw over himself, and dropped off into a deep sleep. Wilbur and Charlotte were glad to be rid of him for a while. And we'll stop there in the middle of chapter 19. So Templeton just came back. "I'm back." And he gave Wilbur and Charlotte some bad news. He said he saw a ribbon on Uncle's pen, meaning he won first prize. And Templeton, not the nicest character. He's like, "Oh, you're in deep trouble, Wilbur. He's still gonna eat you. Congratulations, Charlotte." We know that Charlotte's gonna be a mother. She said she will never see her babies, though. So there's something still wrong with Charlotte. We're dealing with life and death. Wilbur is so afraid to die. I'm making connections. I'm thinking as I'm reading. I hope you're doing the same. Keep watching. I will post the next one on Tuesday. We have Monday off. Enjoy this long weekend. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. Happy Memorial Day. Have a great day.